Good morning, children. Let us start with Unit 2, poem number 9, The Tranty Wanty Gongolo. It is a funny name for an imaginary creature. Okay? So, there's a very funny insect that you don't often spy. And it isn't quite a spider and it isn't quite a fly. It is something like a beetle and little like a bee, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Its name is quite a hard one, but you will learn it soon. I hope so. Try anti-wanty gongo loop. See, so big word it is. So it is a funny insect. It is not like a spider. It is not like a fly. It is something like a beetle. Beetle, an insect with wings which are hard. And what is the meaning of spy? Spy, to catch the sight of. So it is little like a bee, little like a beetle, but nothing like a woolly grub. Woolly, made of wool. Grub, a worm like larva of an insect that climbs on the tree, and its name is Tranty Wanty Gongolo. It lives on the weeds and wattle gum and has a funny face. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. When first you come upon it, it will give you a quite scare. But when you look for it again, you find it isn't there. And unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mope. So try anti-wanty gongolo. So it lives on the weeds and the wattle gum. Weeds, what are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants. Wild plants, unwanted wild plants. And wattle gum, an Australian gum it is, wattle gum. So it lives on that, and it has a funny face. Its appetite is hearty. Appetite, that is desire for food. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. Disgrace, loss of respect due to one's action. Disgrace is loss of respect. And when you come upon it, it will give you a quite scare. You see it, you will scare. You will feel scared about that bee, but when you look for it again, it isn't there, and you have to softly call it, and softly you have to call its name, mope. And mope means feel low and dejected, and unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mope. So you have to call it softly, or else it will stay away and feel low and dejected. It trembles if you tickle it or tread upon its toes. It's not an early riser, but it has a snubbish nose. If you sneer at it or scold it, it will scuttle off in shame. But it purrs and purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name and offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap. So try anti-wanty gongolo. So it trembles if you tickle. If you tickle it, it will tremble. It will shake. It's not an early riser. It does not rise early. It is lazy and has a snubbish nose. Snubbish, somewhat short and turned up at the end. Snubbish nose. If you sneer at it or scold it, what it will do? It will scuttle off in shame. So it will run away in shame. And it will make purr sound. That is sound that a cat makes. A cat makes purr sound. So it will make. And if you call it by its name and offer some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap, and you try calling him by his name. But of course you haven't seen it, and I truthfully confess that I haven't seen it either, and I don't know its address. For there isn't such an insect though there are really might have been. For there for there isn't such an insect, though there are really might have been. If the trees and the grass were purple and the sky was bottle green, it's just a little joke of mine which you will forgive. I hope. Oh, try. Try Auntie Wanty Gongo Lope. So, of course, you haven't seen this insect, and I truthfully confess, I admit that you haven't seen it. But I haven't seen it either. The poet says, I also haven't seen it either. The name of the poet is C.J. Dennis. He also admits, I haven't seen it, and I know you also haven't seen it. And I don't know its address, where it lives, for there isn't such an insect, though there really might be. If the trees and grass were purple, and he says there isn't such an insect, and if the trees and the grass were purple and the sky was bottle green, it's just a joke of mine which you will forgive, I hope. So the poet is saying, I was just joking. So the poet is saying he was just joking, and such insect is not there. It is just an imaginary insect, imaginary creature, and it's just a funny poem with a funny name, Tranty Wanty Gongolo. Okay.